Hello everyone, welcome back to Dugout Daily. I'm Charlie and today we have another video. This time we are previewing the match where the defence of Manchester City's Champions League crown resumes on Tuesday as the citizens take a Scandinavian sojourn to meet Copenhagen in Tuesday's last 16 first leg. Before we get going, make sure to like, share and subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Dugout Daily, the football channel. Hit the Apex DF1 channel and at MCFC Hibs on Twitter. Pep Guardiola's men brushed aside the competition in Group G to finish top of the group, while our hosts sneaked into second in Group A behind Bayern Munich. Capitalising on Manchester United's prolonged misfortune, Danish upstarts Copenhagen only gleaned a point from their opening three Champions League affairs in 2023, but an unforeseen three-match unbeaten run from November to December earned Jacob Nistrup's men a ticket to the last 16. Slender successes over Manchester United and Galatasaray came either side of a creditable goalless draw with group winners Bayern, and the German champions' matchday 6 beating of the Red Devils ensured at least a place in the Europa League for Copenhagen, who lengthened their top-tier European journey as Lucas Laraga struck the only goal against Galatasaray. Only once before have the Nordic outfit competed in the knockout stages of the Champions League, coincidentally losing to English opposition in the form of Chelsea in 2011 in the last 16, suffering a 2-0 home loss before clinging on for a creditable away draw at Stamford Bridge. 13 years later, Copenhagen's second bite at the knockout cherry arrives at a time where inconsistency has plagued them domestically as they entered the Superliga winter break on the back of a three-match winless run, dropping to third in the table on account of back-to-back losses to Viborg and AGF. The mid-season Atlantic Cup then took centre stage for Copenhagen earlier this month, a tournament comprising teams from various nations with no league commitments at the start of February, but Nistrup's men had to settle for fourth in the competition, taking 6 points from an available 9. The Manchester City faithful may have shared a joke among one another when witnessing our bitter rivals go down 4-3 to Copenhagen during the group phase, but there will be no time for that on Tuesday night as the reigning Champions League holders bid to slay another foe during our standard second season surge. Leipzig, Young Boys and Red Star Belgrade would be the teams attempting to quell the Guardiola juggernaut in the group stage of Europe's premier competition, but their efforts were fruitless as the Manchester Titans breezed into the last 16 with a maximum total of 18 points on the board. Only 14-time winners Real Madrid also made it through to the last 16 without dropping a point, and a 3-2 beating of Red Star on the final match day in Group G extended the holders' winning run in the Champions League to 8, the longest streak for an English side in the tournament's history. Since following up that nervy success with a 2-2 draw at home to Crystal Palace, Manchester City have reverted to type with a terrific 10-game winning run across all competitions, briefly sitting top of the Premier League on Saturday thanks to Erling Haaland's brace in a 2-0 beating of Everton. Not since Guardiola's maiden campaign in 2016 have Manchester City packed our bags in the last 16 of the Champions League, and the citizens crushed Copenhagen 5-0 at the Etihad during last season's group stage, although their only two visits to the Danish champions' turf have both ended in a share of the spoils. So the form of both teams, starting with Copenhagen, in their group stage, they only won 2 of the 6 matches. Their group stage started with a 2-2 draw away at Galatasaray. They then lost 2-1 at home against Bayern and 1-0 away against Manchester United. They then beat Manchester United at home 4-3 before drawing 0-0 at Bayern and beating Galatasaray 1-0. Manchester City went 6 for 6 in the group stage, and that started with a 3-1 win over Red Star at home. We then beat Leipzig 3-1 away, Young Boys 3-1 away, and then Young Boys again at home 3-0. We then beat Leipzig at home 3-2 and Red Star away 3-2. Copenhagen have only won 2 of their last 6 in all competitions, and that run started with the 4-3 win over Manchester United. They then drew 0-0 against Brøndby, a 2-1 loss at Viborg, a draw against Bayern, as mentioned before as well, a 2-1 loss at home against Aarhus, and a 1-0 win over Galatasaray was their last competitive match. Manchester City have won 6 in a row, and that run started with a 5-0 win over Huddersfield in the FA Cup. They then beat Newcastle. We then beat Newcastle away 3-2, Spurs away 1-0 in the FA Cup, a 3-1 win over Burnley, a 3-1 win away at Brentford, and a 2-0 win at home against Everton. After scoring the goal which sent Copenhagen through to the knockout phase at the expense of Galatasaray, Copenhagen midfielder Laraga was banished from the field for 2 bookable offences, ruling the 30-year-old out of Tuesday's first leg through suspension. Rasmus Falk, Victor Claesson and 19-year-old Oscar Højlund, who's brother of Manchester United's Rasmus, are all options to deputise for Laraga, who joins the injured David Kochalava with a knee injury and Theo Sander with a knee injury on the sidelines, while Berger Melling's muscular injury renders the left-back doubtful too. Ex-Arsenal keeper Alex Runnison and Nottingham Forest loanee Scott McKenna have both made Copenhagen's knockout squad since their January arrivals, and a few eyes will be on the much-coveted 18-year-old Rooney Bargy, scoring on of his side's 4th in the 7-goal spectacular with Manchester United. While Copenhagen have a handful of concerns to manage, Manchester City travelled to the Danish capital without a single injured or suspended player to rue the absence of, although Ruben Dias was booked twice in the group stage and will therefore miss the second leg if he's cautioned here. The Portuguese's tightrope walking will have little bearing on Guardiola's selection though, and after the Pep roulette came into play against Everton, a few changes ought to be in store for the champions in midweek. Kyle Walker, Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne should all return to the fray after entering Saturday's game as subs, while a revitalised Haaland leads the charge after making it 50 goals from 50 Premier League starts, unsurprisingly a new competition record. So the predicted teams then, starting with Copenhagen, I've gone with Grabara in goal, Ankersen, Dix, Vavro and Gellert as a back 4. We've gone Salves, Falk and Claesson in midfield, Elyounoussi, Bargy and Achori in attack. And the predicted team for Manchester City is Ederson in goal, Walker, Diaz, Stones and Vardiol as a back 4, with Silva, Rodri and De Bruyne in midfield, Doku, Haaland and Foden in attack. Already trying and failing twice to get the better of Copenhagen on their own territory, the third time should be the charm for a fully fit Manchester City on Tuesday, especially with the hosts losing such an influential figure in Laraga. The park and atmosphere is an intimidating one for any visiting team to emerge to, but with Guardiola's men enjoying our customary winter to spring surge, a first leg advantage should be ours to take back to the Etihad. So I'm going to predict Copenhagen 0, Manchester City 1. So that is it for this video then. Everybody, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Dugout Daily, the football channel. Hit the Apex DF1 channel and at MCFC Hips on Twitter. Everybody, thank you all so much for watching and we'll speak to you all soon. Take care and goodbye for now. Cheers.